Welcome to the semifinals of the Charlotte Legacy League Top 8 tournament with Boros Initiative vs. 5cast. If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Game 1, Chase is on the play, keeping 6. Michael has kept 7. Looking at the deck list for Chase and Michael, you saw Michael's list just a second ago, so we'll start with that. He's running the, looks like the more of the stompy approach of the 5-cast deck, or 8-cast deck as it used to be called. But this one's now running the Patchwork Automaton, still running Emery's, 1 Hull Breacher, 1 Psy, 2 Kappas, 2 Thought Monitors, 2 Metallic Rebukes, 4 Forces, 2 Thought Casts. It's running 3 Chalices, 4 Petals, 4 Baubles, 4 Opals, 4 Urza's Baubles, 1 Aether Spellbomb, 1 Pithing Needle, 1 Shadow Spear, and 3 Nettle Cyst. So that's a pretty wide range of artifacts there. He is running 4 Sagas as well as 4 Seeded Synods, so he has tons of artifacts and enchantments to feed those Nettle Cysts that are so popular in Vintage, as well as these Patchwork Automatons that were new to the format, and also making a splash in Vintage as well. It's like Chase finds his namesake card in his Seasoned Dungeoneer in his Boros deck. So we're going to see a trigger there. It's going to forge onto the Seasoned Dungeoneer. It's going to make it very difficult for Michael to deal with that, because it is a creature that can attack and give itself protection from creatures as well. It's like we also might see... Oh, okay. We're going to see an Anointed Peacekeeper from Chase. It's a really cool card. He could name Sagas. He could name that Arawaru. So everything's going to cost 2 more for whatever he chose on that. Chase will probably let us know in the comments. He gets an attack in on that Seasoned Dungeoneer, and also gets a trigger putting the Chalice, which is pretty worthless at this point in the match. So I wonder what Chase named there. It was probably Urza Saga, just keeping Michael from being able to make constructs. See, using his Mistress Bauble to just get an extra card during his turn, and see if that's the case. So 2 cards drawn, and I believe we are going to see... Alright, so mana floated there. So yeah, I imagine he named Urza Saga there. And we'll see an equip on the Patchwork Automaton, attacking for a total of 3. Offering the trade for the Seasoned Dungeoneer. Or not Seasoned Dungeoneer, but for the Anointed Peacekeeper. So it looks like the Urza Sagas are going to be turned back on. Michael will pick back up 3 life, but that Seasoned Dungeoneer is going to cause a lot of pain for Michael this coming turn. So going to get trapped for 5. Going to get an attack for 6. It looks like he has enough mana. All right, so we've got oh god, it's just piling on here. So we got a 4th Aerolingus attacking, got a trigger, another counter up, so that is now a 7, 8 plus 2 is 9 damage. The Monarch comes into play. I don't think Mike's going to be able to do too much against this in this first game. Arawaru could bounce the... I don't really see a way out of this. Maybe he makes a construct, gets an Aether Spellbomb. Alright, so he makes the construct. He could get an Aether Spellbomb off of the Saga, play the island, and potentially yep, okay, so that's what he does. Alright, so he could bounce the Seasoned Dungeoneer with the Spellbomb, and then block the Trampler, the Night token. So we'll pass it over to Chase and see what Chase has. Now, we do know that Chase does have Touch the Spirit Realm in his hand. He also gets to draw an extra card this turn. So I think we're just going to see that construct get zapped out of there, and then an attack, and that'll do it. We also could see another 4th Aerolingus for 1, and that'd be enough to kill him as well. See how Chase wants to handle this. Alright, so Michael's wondering if he needs to bounce it before combat, and yes, that is correct. So he'll go ahead and bounce that Seasoned Dungeoneer before combat. Chase will just touch the construct, and that'll be game. We'll see you in game number 2.
If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.
Number 2, Mike has kept 6, Chase has kept 7. Mike will be on the play as he got beat in this game 1. Now to note, we have not sideboarded yet because this is a best of 5 match. So these are both just still heads up in essentially what would be game 1s. And that can be a little tricky, but I think this match is really determined on play draw here, especially in the opening stages in the first games. So Patchwork Automaton and an automatic trigger right there coming off that is not a Chrome Mox, that is a Mox Opal, so my bad there. And it looks like we have an Emery Spellbomb. Oh man, that is really what you want in this match, is an Aether Spellbomb. Because if Chasen introduces the initiative, Mike can immediately bounce it back to its hand and take the initiative. Now, Chase can regain the initiative every single time he replays a creature, but alright, Chase isn't even going to worry about that. We're going to see that Emery get swords right away, and back over to Mike. Saga, still exactly what you're looking for. He has 3 artifacts in play. It just is really good for Mike right here. And then we'll see a Thoughtcast. So 2 more. He could draw some spells that'll pump up that automaton. But we'll just see an attack for 2. And back over to Chase. A little slower start on this game number 2 for Chase here. Not coming out quite as fast as he did in the game 1. Alright, so we got a 4th Airlingus for 2. That will introduce the initiative. We'll see an attack for 2 and 1 hold back, but the Monarch is introduced into the game. See how Mike responds to that. So Ancient Tomb, no attack. He does have the construct up, so 1 attack he can block. He could get the Shadow Spear next turn as well. Alright. No initiative being brought into, and then just the Monarch. So in a turn before the Monarch trigger, we'll see a construct come into play. Imagine we're going to see Mike make another construct and then go get a Shadow Spear so he has trample, so he can truly get control of this board and get the Monarch away from Chase while still holding up at least 1 blocker, maybe even 2. But there'd be no reason for Chase to block even once, because the trample would walk over if he gets a Shadow Spear. Does not get the Shadow Spear. Just gets a Mishra's Bauble. Interesting. I wonder why he didn't get the Shadow Spear there. So we're going to see Chase not willing to give up the Monarch quite yet. Take a peek at the top of his deck. I wonder why Mike chose not to get the Shadow Spear. And maybe he wanted to draw another card. Maybe he was worried about... I'm not quite sure. I'm sure he can tell us in the comments here. So it looks like the initiative is going to enter now. And now Chase is going to have to play Defender against these large constructs. Maybe he has a Solitude or something like that. But Dassie doesn't really have too much of an option either. He needs to get his game plan underway to try and beat this. Another Saga is not great. So might as well attack with everything except for the automaton, because that Seasoned Dungeoneer is coming through either way next turn because it has protection, and he just wants to get maximum damage on the board. Going to get his beautiful Guru Island. A little jealous of that, and see how Chase wants to play this one. Lotus Petal. Chrome Mox. Maybe another 4th Airlingus. Potentially another Seasoned Dungeoneer. I think you'd want to attack first to get that first trigger. Chalice on 0. Good call, good call. All right, and an Archon of Emeria, and Mike says no to that as well. All right, packs it up.
Huge
Game
thank
number
you
3.
to Patreon supporters who are helping the league and YouTube channel. If you would like to become a supporter, please click on the link in the show notes.
Welcome to game number 3. Looks like Chase has kept 5 on Be on the Play, and Mike has kept 5 as well. So we've had a chance to look at both decks and sideboards. So now we can talk about that a little bit of what we think one might bring in. For Chase, having 2 Containment Priests, 2 Fairy Macabres, a Lurin Third Path, Magus, 3 Furies, 3 Swords, a Meltdown, Unlicensed Hearse, and a Blood Moon. I can imagine that Chase is probably going to bring in the Magus of the Moon, the Lurin Revealed, the Swords of Plowshares, and the Blood Moon, potentially the Unlicensed Hearse. I don't really think he would, though. The Blood Moon and the Magus are really good against these Saga decks. And for Mike, he's got a Haywire Might, a Gilded Drake, Hull Breacher, 2 Blue Elemental Blasts, 2 Flusterstorms, 2 Hurkyl's Recalls, 2 Dismembers, 2 Force Negations, a Torpor Orb, and a Tormod's Crypt. So I think for Mike, he'd probably bring in the Blue Blasts, the Dismembers, and the Torpor Orb. Can't really see him bringing too much else in, but taking a peek at this board after looking away for a few moments, holy crap, what's happened? We got Sagas, Emrys, Nettlesys. Nettlesys is a 5/5, 6/6. So, wow, that's a lightning fast start for Mike. And see if Chase can claw back into this game. 4th Aerolingus isn't going to do it, but there's a Magus of the Moon. And it looks like we have a Hull Breacher coming into play. Just getting it in play before his lands turn into mountains. But that Magus is not really going to do much against a deck that has 2 Petals and a Chrome Mox out at the moment. And a Nettlesist and the Thought Monitor. Yeah, so there's another artifact in play. He's going to get a trigger to draw 2 cards. Whew, that is real good. Another Thought Monitor. Holy crap. So that Nettlesys is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think it's still just a 5/5. I'm not sure if those lands are still considered artifacts. It looks like he's counting them as artifacts. So maybe they're still artifact mountain lands. Okay. I wonder why he didn't attack first. Archon. Not really going to do it there. Okay, well, I guess that explains why he didn't attack first, because he can get it right back. So, lots and lots of stuff here. That Emry definitely doesn't count as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 plus a 3/2. That's a whole lot of damage we'll see in game number 4. Welcome to game number 4. Both players have kept 7 chases on the play this time. Alright, here's some things that we're used to seeing from the initiative deck. But looks like Mike may have a Force of Will. Or not. He doesn't care about the Blood Moon. Oh, he has a basic island in hand. Alright. So, really good start here from Mike. Emry out into play. Dismember. We talked about that. And it looks like 2 Mox Opals. Is he done for the turn? It looks like he might be. Chase has got a mountain in play. And a mountain in his hand. And attack for 2. A little bit slower paced game here in this game number 4. Neither player had a lightning start the way that Chase did in game number 1 and Mike did in games 2 and 3. And there's a Sigh. That's so good. Opal out of the graveyard makes a Thopter. The Sigh can block the Magus pretty easily with it just bouncing right off. And the Thopter's in play, so he can take the initiative at any time. So the only flying creature that Chase plays is the Archon of Miriam. And we've got Seasoned Engineer going to the graveyard, because a Force of Will is not going to allow that. I wonder if Mike should have let that enter the battlefield, though. I don't know. There's a Solitude. Alright, holy crap. Gets to draw 2 cards at least, and he's got a Blue Blast in his hand too now. 2 mana. Looks like a Thoughtcast is coming, maybe? Or a Patchwork Automaton. That's a Patchwork. So that'll trigger the Sai. He'll get to make a Thopter. And then Emery is going to put the Bobble back into play, triggering another Thopter, as well as the Patchwork should pick up a counter as well. And he still has a Mox Opal available if he needs to use a Blue Blast at any time here. So if he's trying to decide if he wants to cast his Thoughtcast or he wants to hold a Blue Blast. It's like he wants to cast the Thoughtcast here instead. He just would rather have quantity over quality, I guess. And then attack for 1 in the air, as 2 of those Thopters just came into play this turn. So giving up the ability for the Blue Blast to be able to... Oh, sells the Solitude again. Seasoned Engineer. Well, Blue Blast wouldn't have mattered anyway. See the initiative enter the game. 2 coming across, no big deal there. And did have protection from creature, so he couldn't block it, but he also didn't get the pump on there. Mike's going to get to take the initiative here because he has the Thopters in play. And it looks like he's going to utilize some of that graveyard magic. Pedal back, trigger Automaton, trigger Sai. Blue Blast the Magus for some reason. Shadow Spear, okay. Oh, yeah. So Shadow Spear, that gets another Thopter as well. I think he missed the Thopter trigger on that one. Automaton is now a 5/5. He's got some Fly Boys, as well as a 5/5 Lifelinker. I think you just send everything, right? You can't block the Seasoned Engineer anyway. Pick up some life. Go get your basic Guru Island. Play said basic Guru Island. And he gets a Thoughtcast here as well. Just getting ready to draw. Just getting to draw so much. Man, it's weird to see the initiative deck look so powerless against another deck. I'm really not used to seeing that. And Mike's really showing the power of his 5-cast deck. He is an artifact aficionado. Loves his artifacts, as you can tell. Well, there's an Archon coming off the top, or going into the graveyard, but 4 damage coming back across. We'll see that get pumped up. I don't know if it's going to be enough to protect him. Hardcast Solitude. Metallic Rebuke. Okay. I don't think he can pay for the Metallic Rebuke anyway. So 5 mana for that. And then Solitude, he's going to offer to counter the Solitude. So the ward's not even going to come into play here. And there it is. Congrats, Mike. And we'll see you in the finals.
If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.